Newly released interviews with serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer have revealed chilling details about the cannibal's perverse inner world. Incoming Netflix series Conversations with a Killer, the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes features haunting never-before-heard footage, where the killer candidly discusses his violent actions, and questions why he didn't seem to have normal feelings of empathy. Dahmer killed and dismembered 17 boys and men in 6 crimes that he began carrying out in 1978. While much of Dahmer's motivations remain a mystery, newly released interviews give a better look at how the Milwaukee man was able to commit such atrocious crimes. The interviews were with his lawyer Wendy Patricus, who was given the heavy task of defending Dahmer during his murder trial. "It's not easy to talk about. It's something I kept buried within myself for many years, and yeah. It's like trying to pull up a 2-ton stone out of the well," Dahmer said, in the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes. Interestingly enough, Dahmer is able to clearly recount his actions, and analyze his thoughts, urges, and actions throughout his killing spree, according to the Daily Beast. "What triggered it all? I wish I could give you a good, straightforward answer on that," Dahmer said. He does admit later that talking about it and analyzing it shows me how warped my thinking was. Despite that admission, Dahmer never appeared to fully show remorse for his actions that shook the Milwaukee community. The killer earned the nickname the Milwaukee Cannibal after his 13-year period of murderous terror. Raised in a broken home, Dahmer was a natural loner who developed a strange inclination toward dead animals as a child. As he grew older, the gay man began to drink heavily, and experienced illicit fantasies about incapacitating men physically and sexually. Right after graduating high school, in 1978, the fantasy became a reality, when he picked up a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks under the pretense that the two would be drinking together. Dahmer incapacitated the 18-year-old man before strangling him to death and dissecting his body in his basement. 9 years went by before he moved in with his grandmother in Wisconsin, where he would commit a series of haunting murders. His grandmother had no idea that while the two lived together, Dahmer spent his time picking up strangers at gay bars and bathhouses before drugging and murdering them in the basement. When he moved out to Milwaukee's Oxford apartments, the serial killer lost complete control, indulging in any violent impulse that crossed his mind. He drilled holes in people's heads, poured acid into their brains, in an attempt to make them zombies, and continued to have sex with their corpses. He was arrested by Milwaukee police officers on July 22, 1991 after one of his victims, Tracy Edwards, managed to escape. While searching his home, officers discovered a bedside table drawer full of disturbing Polaroid photographs of his victims and their dismembered bodies. He later confessed to making his victims pose for pictures on a black table that he planned to make part of his altar. By September 14, 1991, he was charged with 16 murders, many of them committed at his apartment in Milwaukee. Dahmer was given 16 consecutive life terms, with the last one being in May 1992 for the murder of his first victim, hitchhiker Hicks. Dahmer was imprisoned at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Wisconsin. He spent his first year in solitary confinement due to concerns for his safety before he was transferred to another unit. 2 years after his conviction, Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate. On November 28, 1994, Dahmer was bludgeoned to death by convicted murderer Christopher Scarver. Scarver was assigned to a work detail with 2 other inmates, Dahmer and Jesse Anderson. While cleaning the prison gymnasium toilet, Scarver removed a 20-inch metal bar from a weight room, and brutally beat the pair to death. The Jeffrey Dahmer tapes, directed by Joe Berlinger, is set to release on Netflix this Friday.